So, Ambassador Sikri, if you have gone through the verdict, they were entirely rewriting the relationship between the Bangladesh and India since inception. It was like a master class in how to rewrite history. Madam, can you unmute yourself? Can you unmute yourself, ma'am?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, this doesn't come as a surprise to me because when I was there between 2003, 2006, when Begum Khaleda Zia was Prime Minister, this is exactly how they were interpreting India's role in the Liberation War. This is the interpretation of the Liberation War, which is common to the Jamaat-e-Islami and the BNP. There are a few liberal parts of the BNP, but most of them think that no, this intervention by India was not in favor of Bangladesh at all. But in the last 15 years, between 2009 and 24, I must say that Sheikh Hasina has very correctly interpreted what actually happened in 1971, where India's role was, and every person, every even academic, her minister, they all accept, and it's all in the history books now. But I think I would like to also make one more point that while it is true what Mr. Deep Haldara said and what our colleagues have said on the anti-Indianism that the Jamaat-e-Islami has been trying very hard to push in Bangladesh, and this has been happening for many years. But I feel that the events of the last 1 year and the pressure by the Jamaat-e-Islami to take power and to put a very, very negative version on the Liberation War, on the role of India, in fact, to deny the existence of the Liberation War. This has invited a reaction, a negative reaction from the people of Bangladesh. Just last week, on the 13th of November, 4 days ago, there was the students of the universities and the schools erupted in Bangladesh because when Mohammed Yunus was withdrawing his decision to put in singing teachers, music teachers, and PT teachers in the schools, colleges, and universities, and then the Jamaat-e-Islami insisted, we don't want these, we want religious teachers, the students erupted and said, no, our culture is very important. We want to maintain our culture. And so I think that over the last 1 year, the people have realized and accepted that what Jamaat-e-Islami is doing is not what the youngsters of Bangladesh want. So coming to this directly to the verdict against Sheikh Hasina, I think this verdict will be rejected as a kangaroo court verdict by the vast majority of the people of Bangladesh. And in fact, when you're talking about, Sheikh Hasina having given orders to kill, today the government of Bangladesh gave orders to kill in Dhaka, saying that anybody who rises and raises their voice, give orders to kill. And I think that this verdict, this court was not even empowered to try Sheikh Hasina. It's an ICT which is only empowered to try war crimes of the 1971 war. And the judges who were there were illegally put there. The previous judges were all forced to resign. So I think that by any standard, this cannot be accepted. And Sheikh Hasina has herself said that let the whole case go to the ICC, the International Criminal
Ma'am,
Court.
but that the larger issue, this is legal. It's like, is Pakistan society conservative? Do they lean towards fundamentalism? Yes, that's why people on the conservative side get more vote. The liberal parties don't get vote in Pakistan. My question is, you have so many fundamentalists on streets. How come Awami League has not been able to create that pushback? Because unless and until I'll come to you, madam, for that. Unless and until you have a political domestic pushback, everything will be a foreign hand. Again, everything will be utilized by the Jamaat and the Islamic fundamentalists saying that India is interfering. Whereas it's the weakness of the other political parties within Bangladesh to actually challenge these conservatives there on the streets of Bangladesh.
No, actually, Sheikh Hasina had tried her best. We know that so many of these fundamentalists were in jail, and the first thing Mohammed Yunus did was to release them, Rashid Rabbani, and so many others. And today, under Pakistan's influence, the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the Lashkar-e-Taiba, they're sending their people to Bangladesh. So you're right, the people of Bangladesh are conservative, they are religious, but they don't want Sharia law, they don't want a caliphate. They want to have the freedom to preach their religion, and they're willing to accept that others should be able to preach their religion as well.
Okay.
And I think that this group is coming up more and more, seeing what the Jamaat-e-Islami wants to do. There is a reaction against that as well. So in Bangladesh, there's always been this kind of a balance between the cultural identity and the religious identity. And whenever you disturb the balance, there's chaos. but very quickly the effort always is to come back to some kind of balance. And I think we have to also work with the people who believe in the balance, who believe that good
Okay.
relations with
Then,
India
then
are
let
in
me
the favor
rephrase
of.
it. Then let me rephrase it. Deep, is 1971 an unfinished revolution? Is that business of 1971 an unfinished revolution?
Well, a lot has been said about this in recent months. There's a book by Manoj Ghosh called Mujib's Blunders, right? The book basically talks about how even during Sheikh Mujib's time, from then to now, fundamentalists. Well, there have been a pushback to fundamentalists, but not enough has been done even in that time and even during Hasina's time, right? Like you said that the civil society in Bangladesh,
Or Deep, is it
there might
because
have
of the
been
checkered
great
history?
strategic
There's a lot
partnership
of
between.
people. Or Deep, so I'm sorry interrupting you. Is it also
Yeah.
because of Mujibur Rahman's checkered history that he himself in his early days was part of the Muslim League?
Yes, the 19 and his role in the 1946 Great Calcutta killings,
Yes,
when
absolutely.
he was an ally, a very close ally of Surawardi,
Yes,
and all those things, later on, of course, history takes its own twists and turns. He becomes Bangabandhu, and people have change of heart, etc. But the vision of Bangladesh as a secular modern democracy, it was always a work in progress, and there have been very serious pushbacks in Bangladesh's history against that idea. Now, this new generation that has come up in Bangladesh, for them, 1971 was too long ago. Now, ma'am is right that there is a section of Bangladesh and a sizable section of Bangladesh which do not want a society that has to follow Sharia law, or which do not want that kind of conservatism pushed down their throat. And that's a substantial number, but will that number be enough